because it is the place where the best and brightest come to chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Mic with Mike. This is the leading daily social enterprise business show in the Richmond area. I'm your host, Mike King, and I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here are mine, have no connection to, support of, or agreement with any other host, information, or ads on the station. I don't work for the station. My program just airs here on a daily basis. Join me as this cutting-edge show uplifts the community and showcases Central Virginia in a different way. The sounds you're listening to are emanating from the Mike King Biz Studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business. Joining us today, as always, is the man on the wheels of steel, the super producer, Al Green. And we can be reached by calling 804-778-8888. On the Mic with Mike, we highlight partnerships, people, social enterprise organizations, as well as issues of the day. To get more information about us, you can go to our Facebook page, which is On the Mic with Mike RVA. We'd like to thank our show sponsor, the Tom Childry, the credit card guy. If you're a business and you're credit card merchant services, make sure you take a listen to Tom. He's an expert in the field. He's been doing it for a very long time. Tom Childry, the credit card guy, 804-503-8472. He also does a lot of work in the community, which is very important to us at the program. Along the way, we have to pay some bills, so please take a listen to our sponsors and advertisers. I appreciate that. They help us stay on the air. Today, folks, is an engaging one. As usual, we have the game changers who come here to talk. Starting off with us, we have Lakshmi Challa, who is the founder of the Challa Law Group. She is an immigration attorney. She's also the MBL Woman of the Year. So we're going to talk to her in just a moment. We are going to follow that up with Michelle Martello, who had appeared in Forbes magazine. She is a change agent, and she has Mini Mod Design. She is going to talk about pivoting, creating your own digital products and online courses and how to survive and thrive during the pandemic. First up, we'd like to welcome to the program attorney Lakshmi Challa. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time out. Congratulations on the MBL award.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so the way the program works, I look at it and I see people who are doing some really cool, interesting things, and I run across your name. Could you give our listeners an idea of your background, who you are, and how you came to practice the type of law that you specialize in?
Yes. My grandfather actually came to the United States in the 1940s. He was invited here because he was a renowned agricultural economist to do a joint educational program. But at that time in the 1940s, Asians were not allowed to immigrate to the United States. But it was okay because he had a job at the Food and Agricultural arm of the United Nations, so he departed. My father then came here in the 1960s, and my mother and I joined him shortly thereafter. So I wasn't born here. I was born in India, but practically lived here pretty much all my life. And, in 1982, I grew up in Colonial Heights, and I'm a graduate of Petersburg High School. I'm very proud to be a 1982 graduate of Petersburg High School, and my claim to fame is Blair Underwood was part of our graduating class.
Get out, really?
Yeah, we were both in drama together. So it was so funny. I met, he was on this show, and he was acting with an Indian actress who's very famous, Priyanka Chopra in India. And I happened to be at a hotel where she was, and, there's paparazzi all around her, and she's, like a huge actress there. And she just happened to, we happened to be standing in front of each other. And I said, oh, just to let you know, you're not the first Indian actress to act with Blair Underwood. I was. And so, but but my parents decided to go back in 1982. They didn't realize, I hadn't become a citizen at that point. I was 17, and I was just a permanent resident. If you're outside the United States for more than 1 year, you lose your permanent residency. So I ended up eventually coming back to the United States through my husband, who came here on an F1 student visa, and got a PhD at VCU. And so I had to go through the immigration process all over again. And I was the first. I mean, I was one of very few international students at the University of Richmond Law School. And at that time, the University of
Can you give our listeners an idea what the immigration process is? Because we hear about it, but if you're born here and you're not part of that process, give people an idea of what it takes.
That is a great question, because everyone thinks they don't understand the struggle, especially in the current environment. So let's say you come over here as an international student and you're getting your master's degree here. And you want to eventually, you get 1 year, possibly 3 years, to do some optional practical training where you can work pursuant to your student status. But then you have to get a work authorized visa. There's only 65,000 of them allotted per year. And, each year, 233,000 people apply for that 65,000 slot. If you don't get that, then you have to try to apply again next year if you're eligible. Okay, so that's quota number one. Then, once you're on an H-1B, you can apply for permanent residency, but you have to go through, the employer has to go through a recruitment process, and it's long and, an undertaking to make sure that there is no, you're not displacing U.S. workers. And the same thing, to a certain extent, has to be done for the H-1B. There's no recruitment process, but there's a specific wage that the employer has to pay. So you're not displacing, make an attestation that you're not displacing U.S. workers. Then once you go from a student status to a work authorized status on an H-1B, if you apply for permanent residency, the queue for that is about 10 to 12 years.
Wow.
After you become, and if your children age out, that means if your children turn 21, they have to go through this process all over again. And that's often the case. So, and then after you become a permanent resident, you have to wait 5 years before you become a U.S. citizen. So it's a pretty arduous and long, I say, immigration process. It's more like an immigration trek. It is not easy.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the voice you're listening to is Lakshmi Challa, who is an immigration attorney. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's how you ended up as an immigration lawyer, because of your journey. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And
so the process was hard in the past. What's the current administration? What has that done, and how do you see going forward? What's your opinion on what it looks like going forward?
Right. So, one of the first acts that President Trump did was he executed an executive order that said "Hire America and Buy America," which, and his policies have been really restrictive immigration policies have really worked to counterintuitively to that goal. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the stats, for example, because of the restrictions placed on foreign students just don't, they provide a lot of the out-of-state tuition.
Yes.
They, have housing. They become consumers. So for the first time in several years, we've really lost, I think there's been like an 11% decrease in foreign student admissions. And so a lot of schools, in fact, the foreign student out-of-state tuition subsidizes, so Purdue actually spoke about this, subsidizes tuition for in-state
It's funny
Because,
because prior to coming here in 2014, we lived in State College, the home of Penn State, for 10 years. And people used to joke and said if it wasn't for the foreign students, the GPA would be below 2, and then the cost for the in-state students would go out the roof because they're paying a lot to be here.
correct,
And it
correct.
was, and so when you look at it, the local economy knew that, and so they knew that they didn't like the students when they were there. They retired, but they realized the amount of money they generated, and a lot of it was students coming in from out of this country. Can you touch on the idea? So your parents come here. And even during these times, what do people look at? Because I was in the military for a long time, and I've lived overseas. When people think of coming to America and what America offers to parents and their children.
Right. So when my parents came here, we lived a certain time. We lived in Colonial Heights. I was the only non-white at the school at that time. You know, Colonial Heights was formed because of white flight, right?
Okay.
And so it was, and they had no idea what an Indian was. I mean, everyone thought I was related to Pocahontas. They didn't know. I mean, they were as confused as Christopher Columbus was as to the origins of the Native Americans versus those from India. And my mother, growing up, she used to wear a sari and wear a bindi, and we would be, you know, it was a very, you know, we would get a lot of strange looks. My dad, when he came here in the 60s, Chapel Hill was very progressive, but he was telling me the story about a friend of his who went to go to a restaurant in Raleigh and an Indian friend was not allowed in.
Yeah.
And so now you fast forward now, my children, we lived in the West End, and you know you could go to Costco now and you'll see a lot of people that look a lot like me. You know, so it's a very different. You know, all the multinational companies, Capital One, and a number of other large employers have changed really the diversity of the RVA community.
The time, I'm sorry, the time, ladies and gentlemen, is 1:20. We're talking with Lakshmi Challa. She is an attorney who specializes in immigration and as well as other things. So, counselor, people are scared to go to lawyers, and so we had an attorney in a couple weeks ago. I can imagine. So that's regular people are concerned when we go to attorney, where we get buttoned up. I can imagine when your clients come to you, what stage they come in the current climate for the last couple of years, the last 4 years.
You know, I specialize in business immigration and any non-business immigration work that I do, like for victims of domestic violence or trafficking victims or other things, I do pro bono. So I make money off of people who are making money off of immigrants. And usually when someone comes to me as an employer, it's a good thing.
Okay.
Because they have a resource need, or they're an international company that's looking to expand in the U.S. And I've worked with the Department of Commerce and the Department of State for many administrations, not just this current one. And, you know, attracting GDP, attracting FDI, foreign direct investment, really helps our GDP. And since 2016, our foreign direct investment has taken a bit of a dive. I mean, you know, it's U.S. has always been the destination for best and brightest international resources, and so these multinational companies expand in the U.S. and they create jobs. And if you just take it our pandemic, the two vaccines, Pfizer is in partnership with a German firm, BioNTech, and Moderna. Moderna he immigrated from Lebanon to Canada as a teenager and then subsequently came here. And the BioNTech are Turkish immigrants who went to Germany. And, so in fact, the Moderna founder credits his immigration struggle and process to, the success of his company. So sorry, go ahead.
So the time is 1:22. Counselor, can you let our listeners know, since this is a business show, what's the process for an attorney building a business and starting a practice? What's
Right.
that like? Because you have to market some and look out for clients and all those things. Talk a little bit about that part.
Right. So a long time ago, when I first started practicing law over 25 years ago, I kept thinking that I had to, because everyone, clients would say when they would come in to see me, I looked young. I wasn't young, but I looked young. And they would say, no, I thought I was meeting with the gentleman that I saw outside. Because if it was not a major client, the partners would say, okay, have Lakshmi meet with him. Because, it was a issue that I could probably deal with better because I was on the ground, right?
Okay.
So, but they didn't want to see me. They wanted to see, the white-haired man. So I structured myself to be more like the middle-aged man, and soon discovered that I couldn't do that, that I need to find my individual voice, my own USP. And I needed to be authentically who I was, and that's where I started seeing success. And so when I started my business, they say that, it's not passion, but it's purpose that is a great driver of business. And I knew that that was my purpose. And I wanted to provide a different type of law firm experience for clients. One where you look at a problem and you try to think of an innovative strategy for it. And then secondly, understand that you've got to be more than a, bottom line driven firm. So client service and service to the community. So during COVID, when that was right at the time, not only were people were dealing with pandemics, but they were also dealing with a slew of new immigration restrictions. So we started doing weekly webinars, and I've, it's attended by maybe 100 to 200 people at times, sometimes. And we also started an immigration forum, and I've helped tons of people who have other attorneys that are doing their work. And I will outline a strategy, and I will tell them, no, your attorney cited something that was in 2007. It was superseded in 2017. Let me send you the information to send to your attorney. And I do that because I also think, because I think that it is important, if you have a craft, to make sure that you give back to your community with that craft.
Hence the award from MBL. The time is 1:25. Counselor, can you hold with us? We got to take a break, and then we'll have a short break at the bottom. We'd like to talk a little about your community involvement and what you found with the MBL and other communities organizations that you work with. Can you hold?
Yes.
Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the time's 1:26. You're here on the mic with Mike. We will be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy with Beyond. I believe it should not be confusing or expensive for your business to accept credit cards. As a social enterprise business advocate, my mission gets you paid faster with fair rates, helping your business grow. We can be contacted at area code 804-503-8472, 804-503-8472, or at getbeyond.com. Again, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. We make it easier than you expect.
Hi, Chef Michelle here of Mama Chef Cafe, home of the Soul Rolls, located at 10811 Whole Street Road. Give us a call at 804-912-1644 or order online at mamachef.com. Ask about our off-site catering options as well as our online ordering through Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. Follow us on all social media at Mama Chef Cafe. That's Mama Chef's Soul south of the James. Mention Mike on the mic and get a free dessert on us. Special rules apply.
Chris Ship here with Focus Floors, and we are offering a free upgrade in any Bona water-based poly for any job that gets put on our schedule. You can reach us at focushardwoodflooring.com or just check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook, Focus Floors 804, Instagram 80 Floors. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's Pavi Leitner, the CEO and founder of Finlit and your family's certified financial educator, dedicated to the financial success of you and your family. Are you not sure where to start with your finances? Or are you looking to sign your middle schooler up for our virtual camp? Book us at www.finlitva.com. That is www.finlitva.com. Finlit is creating a money-conscious community.
Yo, what up, guys, people? It's your man, Sarah, the Good Chef. You can catch me live in Swagger Studios this Friday, December 4th at 2 p.m. Coming at you on the Mic Show, 100.5 and 92.7 FM. Be there. Be there. Never stop. Never stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the best business program in the area. I'm your host, Mike King. We are here daily with you from 1 to 3 daily. WJFN Radio 100.5, 92.7, 820 AM. It is the game place where the game changers come to talk. Today we are speaking with attorney Lakshmi Challa. She is a business attorney, immigration as well, and you're a big hit in the community, and thank you for the support. Talk a little bit about your organization and the commitment to the community and how you end up as the Woman of the Year for MBL. And shout out to those guys, well, Floyd and those guys there.
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, I've been Adrian Whitaker has been in the past couple of years invited me to some of their events to speak or be on the panel. And what's wonderful is, when you go to those events, there are a lot of friends and a lot of.
Did we lose you?
I know. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Hello, there you are. We had lost you for a moment.
No. So the MBL is full of businesses that are doing phenomenal things for RVA, such committed individuals, and they provide a great programming, great networking, and I was, they had stopped by, and it was, because of the COVID, the event this year was virtual, so I was really humbled, not only by getting an award from an organization that I just think is phenomenal in what it does for the business community in Richmond, but also because of the people who have received awards before me. So I was just honored and humbled by their selection this year.
When you look at the business community climate, what are the business owners saying to you? What their idea of what 2021 looks like?
That's the part that's been kind of sad, because if you go out in your communities, you look around. There's a lot of businesses that have had to close down, and yes. I was telling, I said, there's a lot that's gone on since January 2020, right? It's, one is the COVID pandemic. One is, all the other issues that have come to light with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. So, it has been emotionally and a self-searching, kind of journey for a lot of people, because you're socially distant, and you're, anytime you turn on the TV or radio, you're hearing things that, just can really get you down. But then in the midst of all of this, you also hear about such great things that people are doing. Like, for example, within the COVID pandemic, all our first responders, all the the infrastructure of the people who are putting their lives at risk to make sure that we are safe. You see the businesses that are, I know a lot of restaurants that even though they are really hurting financially, they're doing a lot of outreach, donating food to, children who depend on probably, their lunches at school for, their well-balanced meal, or
True.
donating to first responders and doing their part. And then, you see all these protests around the world where people are saying enough is enough. And you see that, and then you think that within this darkness that you're able to see that light, that there is more better in all of us in the community than there is in, the negativity that we hear on a day-to-day, which is why, this year that award was particularly significant for me.
I'm glad you brought that up, because whenever people are here, I always ask them what gives them hope. You drove right into that one. You definitely lined it up perfectly with everything that's happened and the goodness in people. And it's people as well as businesses as well who are out there helping the next person. That's what I wanted this program to be, and that's why I always talk about social enterprise business, that business can help society be better. Whether people think it's hokey or whatever, it doesn't matter, because business can be used as a force for good. So what gives you hope when you look out in the landscape of the world today?
It's those people that are, one thing is, I think it gives us all the ability to try to find innovative ways to do business, right? And that's why I'm excited to hear about, hear your next speaker talk about, leveraging your online presence to do that. But it's all the acts of goodness that you see, the acts of kindness that, and unfortunately, that doesn't get. That's not as sexy as talking about the negative stuff. So I applaud you for asking the people who speak on your radio show to talk about the positive. But it is seeing these, like I said, individual business owners that are struggling, but yet find time with whatever they have, right, to give back to the community in whatever way possible they can. That signifies that we are greater than we are greater together than we are as an individual. So when they gave me the award, it was 2 days after I'm losing count. I think it's my 56th birthday. And I had written, I take this time every year to kind of write down my reflections on the year past. And I told them that I came across a part of our Star Spangled Banner, which is not a perfect, instrument, but nevertheless, it is our, national anthem. And, there's a section in there that doesn't get highlighted, but it says, "Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust. And this Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave."
No one has ever come on here and dropped the Star-Spangled Banner on us. No one, because you know what? We don't think about it at any time. And I remember being in the Army and traveling around the world, and it was just holding up a piece of America, and that was as a symbol for good. But we as Americans who are here, we don't even think about that. So when we've heard that song, I want to say a million times, maybe it's not, but it seems like it, and they've never really brought into focus what that meant. So, when you bring that up to our listeners, that's very important, because you took the time out to understand and listen to that, where sometimes people who are born here, we may not take the time to smell the roses.
Right. I mean, I think that's what makes America so great, right? I mean, I really... I think it was built on, the idea of the American dream, and imperfectly. I'm not saying it's perfectly built on that. It's imperfectly built on that, but it did. some point it illuminated the world as a beacon of hope, as a standard of what is right and what is just and possibilities. And sorry, go ahead.
That's it. Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on. Let folks know how that they could find you.
Yes, you can email us at info@challalaw.com, and we're on the Challa Law groups on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Twitter, social media is a second language for me, so I'm struggling, but I've got a team that helps me out with that. But, and we try to spread the positive as much as we can to talk about, if you want to change the narrative, you've got to be part of the conversation. And so thank you for letting me be part of your conversation and to allow me to be on your show today. You do great work, and I want to commend you for all the things that you're doing.
I thank you. I thank you for coming on. One of the things when people talk about what your brand says about you or who you are, what you do, your brand and your work speaks. And when I saw what you were doing, I had said I wanted to reach out, and I thank you for taking the time. If there's ever anything that you need, like a friend in the media, whatever, please reach out. We're here to help get the good word out.
Well, thank you. And thank you again, like I said, for being the positive sounding voice for not only the business community, but it's good for people to hear it. You need to still feed your soul, right? And sometimes what you feed your ears is just as important as what you feed your body.
All right.
So thank you.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And with that being said, we'd like to thank Attorney Challa for coming on. And if you guys ever need any legal advice, make sure you contact them. With that being said, we're going to go away for a moment, and we'll be back.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day at 1 p.m.
That's what I do!
Before and after the salon has been active in the Richmond, Virginia community, providing hairstyling services for over 10 years. Before and After is located in downtown Richmond at 1917 West Carey Street. Specializing in weaves, extensions, and growing healthy hair, Before and After provides a full suite of hair care services. Expert stylists Michelle Smith and Alicia Clark are well trained to meet your styling needs at Before and After the salon.
Are you tired of dating online? Bloom Matchmaking offers a safe and effective alternative. Every match is vetted and background checked. Bloom Matchmaking offers a personalized experience just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-205-5063. Let Bloom take the stress out of dating. Mention On the Mic with Mike and receive 20% off. That number again is 804-205-5063. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Does your home need a makeover? If so, refresh with quality with LA Labor and Painting, LLC. They make your home sparkle and be the envy of the community. They are masters at interior and exterior painting, drywall. They clean decks. They landscape and remove items you wish were gone. The bottom line is, they refresh with quality, provide professional service, and follow all guidelines regarding COVID-19. Call today to make your home sparkle. You can reach LA Labor by calling 804-972-8014. Call today for the On the Mic with Mike discount. When you mention the program, you'll receive 20% off of the beautification of your most prized possession. Call LA Labor and Painting today at 804-972-8014.
Are you experiencing difficulties with paying your mortgage or bringing your mortgage current? If so, we can help. Give Neighborhood Home and Assistance a call at 1-800-441-6872 or text 757-951-3048 for the immediate response. We have over 10 years of mortgage experience working with some of the largest mortgage corporations in America. For more information, visit neighborhoodhomeassistance.com to schedule your free over-the-phone consultation. Remember, time is one thing we can't get back, and your home is your investment. Act fast.
Dessert Diva RVA. Specialty boutique with specialty products, providing custom experiences. Our dessert boutique is open on the weekends. Every dessert made from scratch. We also offer date nights and event decor. Dessert Diva RVA, the official home of Party in a Box.
Do you want a crystal clear picture of your finances? Dial 804-601-0532 and schedule your free financial review with Crystal Clear Financial Solutions. Find us online at crystalclearfinancialsolutions.com.
Welcome to the SBA Weekly Business Tip. I'm Martin Short with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Virginia Richmond District Office. You need to make a strategic decision about which state, city, and neighborhood you choose to start your business. Your business location determines the taxes, zoning laws, and regulations. Research the best place. You need to register your business, pay taxes, obtain licenses and permits from your location of choice. Location should depend on your target market, partners, and preferences. To learn more, visit us at sba.gov/VA. We're here to help you start, grow, expand, or recover.
Hi, my name is Daquan Woodbury, also known as Chef DQ. The restaurant industry is going through a hard time right now. With COVID-19, a lot of things are going on. Restaurants are shutting down. They might have to even close their doors for good. In the past few months, we've seen how life can change dramatically in a blink of an eye. Fortunately, I've created a system, a proven system, that allows restaurants to stay successful in this new way of life. As the owner of RVA Cafe, I would love to help you through these challenging times. Go to redindigofood.com for more information.
Thank you, attorneys Justin Lauder and Chris Gatewood at Threshold Counsel PC for sponsoring this program. They offer startup, business, and intellectual property services for innovative and growing organizations. You can find them online at threshold.cc.
From Michael Mikes. From the Michael Mikes. Michael Mikes.
On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business show in the area. I'm your host, Mike King. We're here daily with you from 1 to 3 FM, WJFN Radio 100.5, 92.7, 820 AM. We are the best in the business. Up next, we're going to talk to a friend of the program. We got some news going on here. She's a lady who has an incredible story, and just want to share it. And she's going to be coming to you more on a regular basis because her business model and the way she lives her life is interesting. I'd like to welcome to the program Coach Candace. Coach, hello, how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Talked to you a little while ago. Let folks know who you are, what you do, and then we're gonna drop some information on you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Candace Dion, and I am owner of Dancing with Dion, which is a natural health and fitness company. The goal is to inspire people through fitness, to inspire people through natural health and wellness, and just to generally inspire to grow and to be the greatest version of you possible.
Okay, so you've had your business about 7 years now. Talk a little bit about your journey, because a lot of people have journeys that they are struggling with. How you take, my mom would say, how do you take your mess and make it a message?
Yes, and I say it's like, how do I take my lemons and make it into lemonade?
There you go.
So, my journey had started off about 16 years ago. So 16 years ago, I was approximately 365 pounds. I was about 25 years old. And I always tell people, if I didn't make a change then, I am now currently 39. I probably would not be here at 39 if I didn't make that change at 25. But at 25, I was 365 pounds. Finally made the change in my life and lost a total of approximately 150 pounds with no surgery, just by me working hard and by the grace of God. So in the midst of that journey, I found out about this awesome dance class called Zumba. Started taking the classes at the YMCA, fell in love with it, and fellow students encouraged me to get certified as a teacher. Got certified as a teacher, and then a little while after that, ended up getting certified as well as a natural health counselor. I just was in love with the new life I was building. But I was working full-time, and I was starting to teach classes every now and then and learn more and more about natural health. Little did I know, a couple of years after that, I ended up losing my full-time job, and it was a bit of a surprise, and I had to really trust God. But He allowed me to start this business, the Dancing with Dion business, about 7 years ago, and it has been a journey. I've loved it. Everything has not been easy, but I have made it through 7 years. November 2020 marked 7 years for me. And then come March,
COVID hit.
Come March, when everything changed for us, when March everything changed for us, changed for me, my business almost basically came to a screeching halt. At the time, the foundation of my business was traveling all over Richmond, Virginia, and teaching 4 classes a day in many different types of locations. So, of course, March 15th, everything stopped. And but I was able to then be able to shift and change my business, and was really excited that I was able to make almost all of my services virtual, including creating my own on-demand channel and making my own subscription service for my Zumba classes. So, 2020 hasn't been easy, but by the grace of God, I've been able to shift and actually create a business that can even be even greater than I could imagine.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the voice you're listening to is life coach Candace Dion. So how do you take, a lot of people have an idea that they want to do something. How do you take that and turn it into reality? When you said, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to start going healthy, what was that process like?
The first thing is I had made up my mind. And it really is just that simple. I had made up my mind. I wasn't necessarily 100% sure exactly what I was going to do, but I knew that I was going to do something. And so my mind was made up. I knew a change was going to happen. And there was a saying I've heard before where sometimes you have to jump off the cliff and grow the wings on the way down. And so, if your mind is made up, and especially if you know if that is something that it's an idea that God has put in your heart, that He will lead the way. It's going to happen no matter what. And so determination and truly believing in yourself. I had to believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Losing that 150 pounds, I never had a partner at the gym. I always had to just go on my own. I was always going on my own. I met people eventually, but when I first started going to the gym, I didn't have a partner. I didn't have an accountability partner. I was determined myself. And those things are great if you do. But, determination, trusting, always believing in yourself until everyone around you sees your greatness. You have to know the greatness that God already put in you.
All right.
And then, that path will come.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the mic with Mike, we are bringing to you life coach Candace Dion. She's here talking about her journey. So we got some news to let people know, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So the program on the mic with Mike, we bring you, as I always say, the best and the brightest. And like I tell you, like Khaled said, we the best, baby. This program, we let you know what's going on. You can get the other stuff. There's other places. We're not here knocking anybody or bashing anyone. This is a business program. We talk about how business can impact life. We are bringing to you a life coach. She's going to talk about her journey because everybody wants to do something. and they think they want to do it, but it's only when you start doing it and somebody else can help you get to where you're going. So starting next Monday, the coach is going to be here with, I need all the help I can get. So, you're coming here. This is like a therapy session for me. So, okay, yeah. So, starting Monday, 2 o'clock, we're going to be here. Life Coach Candace is going to be here with us. It's going to be every Monday, 2 p.m. Candace, what are you going to be talking about? I have no clue, but we'll figure it out on the way down. Like you said, we're going to build a parachute on the way down because we're jumping.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Mike, allowing me to go on your radio show and, be able to just, us to be able to feed off of each other and your expertise. So, yes, I'm looking forward to Mondays at 2 p.m. Being live with you, and we're going to talk about everything from fitness, natural health, and inspiration. Fitness, natural health, inspiration. Knowing that we can do it all. That my story. Who would have, if somebody would have told me at 25 when I was 365 pounds that I would have my own fitness and health business, I would have said they were crazy. So literally anything is possible. So inspiration, natural health, and exercise and movement will be the highlight of the topics.
There we go. Okay, so now you have the oils. Give our listeners an idea of what services that you do. So you teach the Zumba thing, and but you also have oils. Talk a little bit about. Another thing that we talk about, multiple streams of income. Everybody always talks about that. Drop a little bit of knowledge on our people about what that looks like from where you're standing.
So I have essentially multiple services and products. So my website is Dancing with Dion, Dion. My middle name is Dion, so dancingwithdion.com. So like I said before, I offer the Zumba subscription service, which is $11.99 a month. You get unlimited access to 10 cardio dance classes. I'm in my living room doing them, and you're in your living room doing them with me. Unlimited access to 10 videos a month. Number 2, I have created, I hand blended myself. I was able to come up with these recipes from just knowledge of me learning and educating myself. I've created a line of essential oil blends that I call A and B blends. A and B stands for Anointed and Blessed Blends. I have a collection of 5. Number 1 is for pain. I have one for pain. I call that Ease the Feeling. Number 2 is for hair growth stimulation. I call that Grow It Out. Number 3 is for relaxing, calming, and settling. I call that Wusa. Number 4 is for being able to focus, concentrate, and be more alert. I have a lot of people that use that with their children with ADHD and autism. I call that Think It Over. And the last one, which is extremely important now, I have several nurses, police officers, factory workers using this blend. I have a blend that specifically helps with cleansing and clearing the lungs, and I call that Deep Breath. So we know how important that is in 2020. So that is my oil blend line. Number 3, so the third product I offer is fitness shirts. So on my journey, I needed every bit of motivation and encouragement and inspiration I could get. So I decided to start designing fitness shirts that I could look at myself in the mirror or look down at myself and be inspired. And so there's cute sayings like fit with thickness, sweat now, smile later. So I have about 12 or 13 different designs. I even have one for men that says savage, not average. And so that is the line of shirts. And my last product is along with the natural health. So people can book a health consultation with me. And what that means is, let's say if someone has diabetes and they deal with anxiety, and they have wanted to be able to learn what they can do naturally that can treat those conditions and their concerns. So I will educate them. They can meet with me virtually or possibly in person if you're in the local area, and I will educate you on what herbs, supplements, vitamins, essential oils, an eating plan and a movement plan that can help you treat. And, the goal is to be able to get off of medications or lower medications. So I will educate you on, it's an hour-and-a-half session, and I will educate you on those aspects the natural aspects can help you treat your health conditions and concerns. And I have an awesome deal going on right now. So to book a health consultation with me, and everything's on the website, dancingwithdion.com. It is $50 for the hour-and-a-half consultation. Right now, if you buy that and book that, you get free 1 month of my Zumba subscription service.
Now, there you go. Now, see, that's what we're talking about, making deals to make things happen. Drop that on people once again, because people, we need to let people know what's going on out here.
So dancingwithdion.com. You can get the fitness shirts. You can get the essential oil blends. And I have a ton of testimonials of people that legit are experiencing wonderful results with my oil blends. You can subscribe to the subscription service, but also, and really, natural health is really my passion. Because it's part of what helped me get through I actually had some underlying health concerns, and so I educated myself on what could help me.
Okay.
But booking a natural health consultation so you can be educated on what can naturally help you get through your health concerns, and then plus you get a free month of my Zumba subscription service is a wonderful deal, and so.
That's what you're bringing to the table. Okay, so we got about 30 seconds. Let people know how they can find you besides being here on Monday at 2 p.m.
So my website is Dancing with Dion, D-I-O-N, dancingwithdion.com. Also on Facebook, Dancing with Dion. My personal page on Facebook as well is Candace Dion. And also on Instagram, Candace Dion. So you can find me in all of the places.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Life Coach Candace Dion. She's here with us on Mondays, 2 p.m. starting next week. Super excited. Coach, we'll talk to you next week. Keep killing them out there. Up next, we have royalty in the house. So we got family here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you on the other side.
105 FM, 92.7 FM, and AM 820.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. CDC scientists say that coronavirus was present in the U.S. earlier than initially thought.
The coronavirus was in the U.S. as early as mid-December 2019, a period earlier than officially identified in either China or the U.S., according to new research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The study, published Monday, found evidence of the virus in 106 of 7,389 blood donations to the Red Cross in 9 states. These donations were collected between December 13, 2019 and January 17, 2020, with the Red Cross later submitting them to the CDC to test for antibodies. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Also at townhall.com, Senate Republicans calling on Democrats to sign on to their version of a COVID-19 relief bill.
Leader Mitch McConnell says House Speaker Pelosi's demand for several $1 trillion was all part of a political strategy.
She gambled that if American families didn't get any more relief before the election, her party would expand its majority in the House, and Democrats could continue demanding the right to remake all of society along far-left lines.
It's a ploy he says backfired in the election. Now he's calling on Democrats to embrace a less costly package that addresses the most critical needs related to COVID-19. Bob Agnew reporting.
Today, the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, has been designated as Giving Tuesday, when people around the world donate to nonprofit and charitable organizations, sharing the blessings they have with others. This year, the Salem Radio Network has adopted the nonprofit Prison Fellowship, whose Angel Tree program helps children with a mom or dad in prison. Donors make it possible for these children to receive a Christmas present, a Bible, and a personalized note from their incarcerated parent, in the belief that kids should not be punished for the misdeeds of a parent. More information is available on the website angeltree.org/Kirk. More at townhall.com.
Let's say you've decided to build a bicycle from scratch. Sounds like an impossible project for my skills, but let's say you've got the skills and I offer you an advantage, a special tool that would help you build the bike faster while saving you legitimate money. My guess is you'd say, bring it on. If you wouldn't, well then this commercial isn't going to make much sense. My name is Ryan. I'm from United Faith Mortgage, and we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is lucky to have a direct lender advantage. Our company is set up to use its own money and make its own lending decisions within its own walls. And often, this advantage allows us to get your refinance or new home loan done faster and get you a better rate, which saves you monthly and lifelong money. Rates are historically low. Now is the time to see how our special tool might work for you. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1335. Bracket NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
NASDAQ is seeking U.S. authority to require more diversity in the boardrooms of NASDAQ-listed companies.
NASDAQ is the first major exchange to pursue such a requirement. The proposal filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, if approved, would require all companies listed on the exchange to publicly disclose consistent, transparent diversity statistics about their board of directors. It would require most NASDAQ-listed companies to have or explain why they don't have at least 2 diverse directors.
Correspondent Jeremy House with that report. The requirement includes having one board member who self-identifies as female and one who self-identifies as either an underrepresented minority. Foreign companies and smaller reporting companies would have additional flexibility in satisfying this requirement with 2 female directors. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The infamous terrorists dubbed the Beatles are going to face justice.
The indictment charging 2 Islamic State terrorists in the torture and deaths of American hostages in Syria is the culmination of a years-long legal and diplomatic tussle between the U.S. and Britain. Interviews by the Associated Press with nearly a dozen people pull back the curtain on those talks and reveal new details about a counterterrorism success in the waning months of the Trump administration. The 2 men, Britain's Alexander Coty and El Shafi El Sheikh, face charges in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia. They're accused of being part of a cell dubbed the Beatles by their captors because of their British accents. Keith Peters, Washington.
The United Nations says food has now run out for nearly 100,000 refugees from Eritrea who have been sheltering in camps in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region. The UN is pleading for supplies. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
Mr. Joyce, sometimes people don't maintain their heating and cooling system.
You wouldn't go a year without changing the battery in your smoke detector, would you?
You would never do that.
Make sure your smoke detector has fresh batteries and call James River Air to make sure your heating and cooling systems are tuned up and ready for duty.
Anytime's a good time for a tune-up.
Plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, and appliances. James River Air can service all of these systems. We are your whole home service partner. Call or click jamesriverair.com.
Feel the hot new reels and cool cash at Rosie's Gaming Emporium. Are you ready for added excitement, more ways to win, and bigger payouts? Then stop into your favorite Rosie's and check out our all-new machines where jackpot pools start at $100,000. Don't miss the next level of jackpots, new ways to win, and big-time payouts. Only at Rosie's Gaming Emporium.
Stop by and win today or click rosiesgaming.com for more info. rosiesgaming.com.
There's a news star in Virginia, thevirginiastar.com. Finally, there's a newspaper in Virginia that delivers the unfiltered truth on politics and information you need to know.
I love it. It's about time.
Man, it's great. I read it every morning. Thevirginiastar.com. Unbiased. No slant, just facts. Thevirginiastar.com. It's not the mainstream media, it's the truth stream media. So if you're tired of fake news, get real news now. Thevirginiastar.com.
America's Godzilla of Truth.
Joining us now, famous lawyer Lynn Wood. Lynn, great to have you with us, sir.
Let me say something. Something is rotten in Georgia. I've seen the evidence with respect to the Dominion machines and the software they used. They cheated and stole this election through the voting machines and through the mail-in ballot.
The John Frederick Show. Listen all around the world on the John Frederick Show app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play.
Now we know why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris never bothered to really campaign.
Hey guys, this is Robin with DB Arcade Commercial Video and Photography. If you need creative visual content for social media or traditional advertising, then we're the team you want working for you. We create custom ROI-driven videos and photography for your business, no matter what products or services you offer. We've worked with local newspapers, gyms, real estate agents, financial advisors, clothing companies, restaurants, and more. For more information, check us out on our website at db-arcade.com.
Yo, what up, guys, people? It's your man, Sarai, the good chef. You can catch me live in Swagger Studios this Friday, December 4th at 2 p.m. Coming at you on the Mike Show, 100.5 and 92.7 FM. Be there. Be there. Never stop. Never stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business show in the area. Just like to thank Life Coach Candace for dropping in for a moment and talking to us. Just a little bit of housekeeping here. We'd like to say tune in this week. We are going to have our Swagger Studio on Friday. That's from Friday from 2 to 3. It's going to be uplifting, entertaining. We're going to have gospel entertainer Sir Ra, who's going to be in. He's going to give us some uplifting words. He's going to drop some beats on us, some hip-hop, a little singing. He's going to do something. I just know he's going to be here, and we're going to try and inspire you. So the Swagger Studios open 2 to 3 on Friday. That's going to be every Friday, and it is sponsored by our friend, and this is drop breaking news, Dontrese Brown, and he's going to be the one who's sponsoring that, so we're going to have a lot of information with that going forward. Make sure you check out his project that they have going on, Hidden in Plain Sight. Also, we'll have a little update from our friends over at Heard, the documentary, David Powers. He was in yesterday to talk about Von Johnson, and hopefully, things are getting better with him. It's kind of like the church notes here, just going through the church announcements. Shout out to my sister who's a preacher, so, I do get it honest. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is a business program. As I said, okay, we got some, shout out to some of the folks. I always say cool people know cool people. And this is part of the program. We'd like to welcome to the program Michelle Martello, businesswoman, entrepreneur. She's going to be here talking about pivoting and business. There's a fine gentleman on her left. He says he's here just as eye candy. His name is Zane. And shout out to our friends Craig Martin is how I've met these fine folks. So, Michelle, we'll start off with you. Let us know your business and how we ended up here today. And then we can give folks, you're talking about how to make business successful, pivoting, and your online presence.
Oh, thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate it. And it's fun to see you in person again.
It is. The last time, was, at the Monument. No, we were at the VMFA. Mm-hmm. And that's when all the unrest had happened. Tell folks who you are, what you do. And you're pretty famous as well.
I'm famous on the internet. There you go. So my name is Michelle Martello. I'm the owner of Minima Designs. And I'm a digital strategist who helps people leverage their brands online, creating products, courses, and programs that they can sell to groups of people, one to many. So this is something, I've been a web designer. I've been a mentor. And this is now my 15th year of business, which is crazy to me. So it's been a real ride. And especially this year, helping people pivot online, in person to online has been a really, really big part of what I've been helping people with this year.
Now, you do a lot in the community mentoring. Mm-hmm. And how and why is that such a big part of what you do?
Yeah, as a woman, I've been a designer in the digital field for almost 20, or actually over 20 years now. And so
that was novel back in those days.
It was, I've actually been very fortunate. I've always, when I did work for other people, I did work for women. So I had really good groundwork. And I found when I started my business, there weren't a lot of women doing what I did. And at the time I was active on Twitter. And people were reaching out to me and just asking for advice because I had been doing it for a while, and I would just connect with people and give my advice. So I've more formalized this in the last couple of years, doing mentorship programs, masterminds, speaking a lot, doing a lot of engagements, doing a lot of mentoring inside of group programs. But it is really something that's super satisfying to me because this isn't something they teach in college. In fact, I taught college about 7 years ago. I taught for a semester at VCU, and the kids it's just not what it's not in the course curriculum these days to do what we're doing. You really have to learn in the field. And so I was able to share what I know, what I've learned over the past 15 years in that semester of teaching. And it's just so rewarding and fulfilling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice you're listening to is Michelle Martello. If you have questions for her, this lady can help you expand your brand, get more exposure, and help you be more successful. Give us a call, 804-778-8888. We are here to take your calls. So you guys really live the Richmond experience, don't you?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what Richmond is now, what you've seen it turn into, because your business is not Richmond centric. You're national. You're kind of like a big deal.
Yeah,
and we're going to touch on that in a minute.
So Zane and I, this is my husband, Zane and I met over 20 years ago in D.C. And I was living in D.C. at the time, and we dated for 5 years, and he convinced me to move down to Richmond. And I love it. I love Richmond. I love the people. I love the city. And it has changed so much. When I first moved here, there were not groups for people. There were not networking groups. I think I went to one event, and it was a total old boys club. I was not made to feel welcome. That has completely changed. I think, I don't know if you know Shannon Siriano.
Yeah.
So she's fantastic. I think she's really done a lot for the community to really engage and encourage people to come together with her Rebel Conference and community. And so what's really happened in the last 3 to 5 years, I think, has been tremendous. I think people really do want to help each other. And that's something that I didn't see 15 years ago. It was much more cutthroat. It was much more of, I'm going to get mine. Now it really is about how can we help each other and lift each other up.
What do you think was the pivot for that? What do you think did that?
I think, the beauty of the internet is that it really is an equalizer.
Yes.
You're giving accessibility to education in a way that just has not been available. I've been on the internet. I've been a web designer since the late 90s. And you really had to either train yourself, I used to order magazines from the UK to teach myself with CD-ROMs, if you remember those.
Yeah.
So with CD-ROMs, and I would break down how websites worked. There wasn't any place where you could go for that education. Now you've got YouTube, you've got Instagram, if you've got a phone, you don't even need a laptop, but if you've got a phone and Wi-Fi, you have access to more than you could ever get in the library or an encyclopedia.
I think that people don't realize that. If you're younger, that every question that was ever known to man is right in your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether it's true and you believe it or not, but it gives you the ability to answer the world has gotten smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Before, news took a long time to travel. Now, I moved from Philadelphia out to a place called North Wales. 20 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big difference between the people out there, 20 miles
Mm-hmm.
difference, because they hadn't gone to Philadelphia in 15 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were totally different. Now everyone knows the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And from a business standpoint, coming to Richmond, I came in 2014. The idea of it, there were different pockets of people, and I could see whether it was the startup community, it was the tech community, it was the arts community, it was all of those, and they were moving forward. And then COVID hits.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about what COVID did and how you're helping businesses pivot during this time.
So when I started my business, I really got known in the yoga and wellness community. That is where my niche was. And so over the course of the last 15 years, I've really cultivated kind of a little bit of a following in that space.
A little bit?
And so I've been very fortunate to work with some amazing clients that I still work with that are quite well known in that field. And so through collaboration with them, there's been an awareness about my brand as well. And, when March hit, I have a lot of friends who are yoga teachers or who are movement specialists or they work one-to-one. And as soon as COVID hit, I was like, I need to write something. So I wrote this massive blog post. You can see it on my website. Again, I'm a firm believer in accessible education. I don't think you should have to pay a lot to get this baseline education of how to run a business online. And I wrote a whole blog post about how to teach online, even if you have no budget. That's actually the blog post title, because I have so many yoga teachers who really were living week to week, month to month. They didn't have, $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever. And you don't need it. You literally just need your phone to create something and to teach something and to take payment for something, which is the big thing. So in that blog post, I tell people several very cheap or even free ways to teach online and the way that they can take the money. Because that's something that a lot of people miss. They're like, oh, I'm going to build this business, but you really have to think about what are you getting paid for? In fact, it's a mistake when I'm doing website reviews or business reviews. I'll often see, this is great, there's a lot of information about you. How do I pay you? What do you actually offer? And so that's something I think a lot of people really miss because they want to give freely, they want to give value, which is great, but you got to get paid at the end of the day.
And I know sometimes it's harder for women to do that, just dropping the number, like to get paid. Mm-hmm. How do you talk to people and say, I need to get paid for this right there and how do you, as a business or anyone, get on the radar to raise my exposure that you end up in Forbes?
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. There's a picture of you in Forbes. How do you go from Richmond, Virginia to Forbes?
So, it's not just about being in a location. It really is how do you network and how do you connect? You never know who knows someone else.
That's true.
And so you always have to be cognizant of your behavior, both in person and online. And this is something I teach a lot when I mentor, especially students.
I'm getting the pencil and paper out now, because this is where Mike King needs this one.
You might need a little bit, yeah. So this is something, I remember back in 2013, I was teaching that college class. And I remember the kids were, they were about to graduate, and they were, of course, petrified, as they are, because what's next, And I said, well, my project for you this semester is we're going to get your portfolio together. You need to have your stuff together. They were design students. I said, you need to have your stuff together so that if you go pitch to a client, you go in for an interview or whatever, they've got something to look at. I never want to go to a website and see like under construction. I'd rather not see anything. I'd rather see a contact form, or I'd rather see a way to connect with you rather than like, oh, stuff's coming soon. Don't tell me it's coming soon. Tell me how I can get in touch with you.
Because you never know how. I used to go to New Orleans, and the first time I went, there were signs that said going out of business. And obviously they're going out of business. I kept going back, and they were always going out of business because it created a sense of urgency. And you had to go get these deals that were there today. Business owners struggle with how to get noticed. And you're saying you have the tidbits of information.
Yeah, for me, again, it goes back to connection and networking. My favorite way to get new clients is to get exposure to someone else's audience. So, for example, this is a great example. I come on, I interview with you, I get exposure to your audience. People who have never, maybe they've never Googled for me, they don't even know who I am. They're going to hear me on this show and say, hey, that sounds kind of interesting. Let me go check out that blog post. You come to my website, and then maybe I've got a free ebook, which I have 5 on my website for you. You come and you put your email in for my free ebook, and then you're on my email list, and now you're going to hear from me every week. And at some point, you may decide to work with me, or purchase a product, or come to an event, or whatever.
Time is 2:21. Michelle Martello's here with us. We're on the mic with Mike. It is a place where the game changers come to talk. We have to go away for a minute to pay some bills, plus my grandkids need stuff. So we'll be back shortly.
Do you Want a crystal clear picture of your finances? Dial 804-601-0532 and schedule your free financial review with Crystal Clear Financial Solutions. Find us online at crystalclearfinancialsolutions.com.
Hey, this is Mike King, the host of On the Mic with Mike, and I'm here with
Chef Robin Carter.
Chef. I hear you got some exciting news for our listeners.
Yes, available on our website right now at carolinagirlcatering.com is the holiday menu. It's available for pre-order until the 22nd, and then pickups and deliveries will be available the 23rd through the 25th.
And what can people expect on the holiday menu?
We have vegan options as well as non-vegan options. Everything on there is a side. We have potatoes, we have vegetable sides, charcuterie spreads along with boards available on there as well, handmade pies. carolinagirlcatering.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy with Beyond. I believe it should not be confusing or expensive for your business to accept credit cards. As a social enterprise business advocate, my mission gets you paid faster with fair rates, helping your business grow. We can be contacted at area code 804-503-8472, 804-503-8472, or at getbeyond.com. Again, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. We make it easier than you expect.
Hey guys, this is Robin with DB Arcade Commercial Video and Photography. If you need creative visual content for social media or traditional advertising, then we're the team you want working for you. We create custom ROI-driven videos and photography for your business, no matter what products or services you offer. We've worked with local newspapers, gyms, real estate agents, financial advisors, clothing companies, restaurants, and more. For more information, check us out on our website at db-arcade.com.
Are you experiencing difficulties with paying your mortgage or bringing your mortgage current? If so, we can help. Give Neighborhood Home and Assistance a call at 1-800-441-6872 or text 757-951-3048 for the immediate response. We have over 10 years of mortgage experience working with some of the largest mortgage corporations in America. For more information, visit neighborhoodhomeassistance.com to schedule your free over-the-phone consultation. Remember, time is one thing we can't get back, and your home is your investment. Act fast.
Are you tired of dating online? Bloom Matchmaking offers a safe and effective alternative. Every match is vetted and background checked. Bloom Matchmaking offers a personalized experience just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-205-5063. Let Bloom take the stress out of dating. Mention On the Mic with Mike and receive 20% off. That number again is 804-205-5063. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Yo, what up, guys, people? It's your man, Sarai, the good chef. You can catch me live in Swagger Studios this Friday, December 4th at 2 p.m. Coming at you on the Mic Show, 100.5 and 92.7 FM. Be there. Be there. Never stop.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day at 1 p.m.
That's what I do.
As I usually say, we'd like to thank President 44 for dropping that on us. You know, that's what we do here. We'd like to thank Tom Childry, the credit card guy. If you have any merchant services, you make sure you take a look at Tom Childry. We also like to thank, Hanley Watches, Jay Carpenter, good friend of the program. They are the official timepiece of On the Mic with Mike. But today we are here talking with Michelle Martello. So you're in Forbes. Okay, Forbes hits you up. What's the first feeling when they contact you? Is it by email? See, we want to know the details.
The details. Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I actually pitched them.
Well, that's even better.
Right? So
Okay.
I worked with a media coach who helped me craft some ideas.
Okay,
and-
wait a second. See, I got to put my glasses on with this one.
Yeah.
What is a media coach?
So a media coach is someone who helps you get publicity. So helps you pitch articles, interviews, videos, so that you
Is
can
that
get
a publicist or like that?
It's kind of in the realm of publicity.
Okay.
But it's someone who will actually help you craft your messaging. So, you go through a process. It probably took 6 to 8 weeks. So we went through a process of first, cultivating a few ideas. We looked and this is great for any industry that you're in. If you want to get in a publication, or if you want to work with someone or get featured on a show, well, listen to the show, read the articles. What are they already creating? What can you create in a similar vein? Or could you have a response that could be maybe on the opposite side of something they've produced, something that would get eyeballs? Because everybody wants more eyeballs and traffic and listeners, right? So what can you write or create that would drive more traffic? So, they're doing you a service by, showcasing you on their show. You need to do the publication or the podcast or whoever a service by bringing something entertaining and interesting to the podcast or the publication.
It's funny. So on this program, one of the segments that has gotten the most interaction for me, it was when we had Henrico Economic Development on, and Anthony Romanello told us that the data lines that are coming in across the ocean come into Henrico, and they're able, over the course of 12 seconds, every movie that's ever been made would be able to be shipped across the ocean in 12 seconds. People are just like, it's mind-boggling, the things that go on here that people don't realize. And so for me, that brought in a lot of people who hadn't been exposed to On the Mic with Mike. So it is called a media coach.
Media coach, yeah. So that's someone who will help you, again, craft your message and then pitch it to different publications. So I pitched 3 different ideas. One of them was accepted, which is the one that got published. And then once it was accepted, I went ahead and wrote the article. And then it was published about 2 or 3 weeks ago, which was fantastic. Yep.
Okay, so you pitched 2 or 3 different ideas, and then you backtrack and write the article.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. So it's here's something, a little secret. A lot of times people will want to create products and things and then try to sell it. The truth is, you should really think about, well, what are you selling first? And then you backtrack and create the product. So you find out, what does your audience need? What are they asking for? If you put something out there as like a little teaser or taster, what's the response? You don't want to create what I call in a vacuum. I'll give you a little example. So again, I help people, create products and courses. And years ago, I worked with a woman who was a therapist. And she came up with this idea that she was going to create a marriage boot camp. Audio marriage boot camp. But it was for right before you got married. And it was 20 hours of therapy before you get married. I'm like, this is the happiest point you're probably at in your marriage. It's like the month or 2 before you get married, right? And so she probably spent 15 or 20 grand. That's crazy. Building this product, but she had not built her audience. And so she thought as soon as she put the website up, she's going to have all this money. One person bought, and it was her cousin. So
the idea of build it and they will come.
No,
you'll go broke.
No, it's something I saw for many years when people are like, I spent all this money on a website, and I was primarily a website designer, and I will tell people, do not spend money until you know what your offer is, because don't just build something and then be like, people will come to it. No, you have to drive people to it. You have to acquire your audience, and you have to have something for sale.
When you have something for sale, do you have to offer a deal?
There's a lot of different theories around marketing. I will say that having something like, let's just say you are creating like something for the first time. I do like to honor folks who are in my audience. So for example, I produced a mini course about a month ago. And for anybody who was on my email list, I gave them a 50% off discount because I wanted to get testimonials. So I wanted people to try it out. It was kind of a beta version. I wanted them to check it out, give me testimonials, give me feedback so I could reiterate and then up the price. And so I did that first round. I got about 150 people in that first round, which is fantastic. I got great feedback. And I actually just relaunched it last week at a higher price. And so doing stuff like that gives you an immediate cash flow, but then you're able to reiterate and put it back out there again.
So when business owners come to you, what's the number one mistake that you see that is on a recurring basis? It's kind of like, this is the one thing instantly when a person calls you up and say, hey, I need help, you see that problem more than any other.
Honestly, the biggest issue is mindset. So you were asking before, like, how do you ask for the sale? The biggest issue I see is mindset. It's, I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to send too many emails. I don't want to let people know what's for sale. Let people know what you do. People have to be, basically, I say this, hit over the head with it.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and it used to be, you know, and Zane can correct me. Sorry, I'm like, I'm like my husband's here. I'm like, you know, talking a mile a minute. But it used to be we would need 7 to 12 touch points, right? Now Google has a great kind of insights newsletter. If you ever want to get more into the digital strategy space, Google has a lot of great info. They tell us that we need at least 21 touch points now before someone will be convinced to make a sale. And so, you know, that means a bunch of emails. It means posting on social media. It means doing outreach and press. It means people need to see things and hear things over and over and over again before they're going to take an action. It's why we get so many Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. You know, it's why we get cart abandonment emails. It's like, hey, reminder, hey, you might also like this. Hey, because it works. Because it works.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this program does. We bring you folks with insight to have an understanding to say, you got to keep telling people what you do. I always say, no one ever bought anything they never heard of. Mm-hmm. You got to tell people. And if you think you're telling people too much, we all know where Walmart is, and here they are on TV. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, I'm going to wait. You're going to wait for what? Yeah. Somebody bought. Either you bought their excuse or they bought your product.
Yeah.
Okay, so the media coach is interesting, say, for me. How, when you're out there looking for the business opportunity, so people come to you and they say, I have this idea. Mm-hmm. How candid are you? Are you brutally honest?
I will be. You know, I tell people, I have a personal rule that I won't work with super newbies. I need people to have been in business at least a year to 2. I always tell people almost anybody can fake it for a year.
That's true.
But by year 2, you need to be making real money unless you're a trust fund kid, right? So that's kind of a personal rule, especially if I'm doing more high-level premium services where I do a lot more one-to-one consulting. If I'm doing any design work, you have to prove to me that you are a proven quantity. I tend to work with folks who are more experts, so people who have been in business or have been in their field of study for at least 5 to 10 years. I'm not saying it's not valuable if you're just getting started out, but I really think the most important thing you do when you are starting a business, especially if you're in more of personal development or consulting, not like a product, not a physical product, but you're doing kind of an info product or you're doing service-based business, is just to work with people. Really to work with people, because what happens over the couple of years when you get started is you're going to start to see patterns. You're going to start to see, well, what do the clients need? What is superfluous? What can we get rid of? What can be part of the process? What makes the process smoother? How do they get a better return on their investment? And so the most important thing, I think, is just to really work with people and to document what you're doing. Because it can very easy to go from client to client to client. But if you're not starting to recognize the patterns of, well, that didn't go so well, or this went really well, what can I change? Here's a great example. When I started, I was a web designer. And when I started out, I would have a client, and they would pay me for my deposit, and I would come up with 3 designs. And I started to realize I'm spending all these hours creating these 3 designs for them to pick one, or even worse, when they would put all 3 together, or they put all 3 together and become Franken design. And I started to realize, well, why am I doing all this extra work? So I went down to 2 designs. It takes me a while to learn sometimes. I went down to 2 designs. And then a couple of years in, I'm like, why do I not just do one design that I really love? I'm listening to the client. We'll do one design, and it removes decision. So there's something called decision fatigue, right? When you're given too many options,
yes,
it's you either don't make a decision. That's why we tell you not to put like 20 different items on a page, because one page, one goal, right? We want people to make a decision, yes or no. I don't want them to have like 10 different options and then be like, well, I like this from here, and it just confuses themselves. So that's an example of like, how can I simplify my process? Well, I'm also able to raise my rates and spend less time working on stuff without wasting. What I really hate is when I waste time. So me spending 20 hours on something that I know isn't going to see the light of day, well, who is that serving? So if you start to look at your own process and how can I expedite things? How can I clean up my own process so that especially if I am doing a one-to-one service, you know, it's not about getting paid for that hour, it's about getting paid for that knowledge. So even if you are doing one-to-one, how can you streamline and simplify your own process so that you are expediting your work and still providing a quality experience.
So when I came to the market, and prior to here, I used to work at CW Richmond and NBC 12. And I didn't understand from a media standpoint until I go into TV the value of a dominant number one. Because a dominant number one sets the price, and everyone else deals with it. There's only a problem when there's not a dominant number one, and we have a race to the bottom. Because eventually, that's what's going to happen. Is it possible for me, as a business owner, as this radio program, to talk my way into maybe not the number one position, but into a very good place, a la Conor McGregor, where he talked his way into a very big payday? Is that possible?
Again, it goes back to mindset. A lot of times people are like, oh, it's who you know, it's all your connections. That's part of it. Mindset is the number one thing that can make or break a business owner. I will tell you, there were so many years where I had kind of a frenemy, I called it, who really I've discovered just was jealous. And so, but I would let this person kind of hold me down, and I wouldn't want to share like what I had done. I wouldn't want to share. It's okay to brag, by the way. It's okay to share that you've been successful. People are craving good news. I will tell you, when I shared my Forbes article with my newsletter audience, because here's a little trick. Forbes really wants to see page views. So if I can send, a few thousand people over to Forbes, they're going to like that and maybe have me write another article, right? So you always want to think about, again, how can you serve this person who is helping you? How can you continue to serve them? And I will tell you, I had the biggest open rate and the most responses. I think people were just craving just even a little bit of good news. People are happy to see someone else succeed. And that's also the people you want to keep around.
Plus, it was a killer picture, too.
It was a good picture. I have a really good photographer, so.
A shout out to your photographer. Because you know what? That one was a picture like I ain't playing. This deserves to be on Forbes. If you had some social media, if you gave a person a couple tricks on social media, what would it be?
Show up. Here's the thing. I actually prefer newsletters to social media. Social media is important, but it can go away tomorrow. So you need to own who you're talking to. So it's great if you've got a lot of Instagram followers, it's fantastic, but I also want you to have their names on an email list so that you can continue the conversation. So if someone is just on your Instagram, they might miss something. They could scroll past, they could drop Instagram, they could, whatever. But if they're on your email list, you can directly talk to them.
Okay. Best way to build an email list.
Yeah.
So you didn't know you were coming here for all that. This is church right here.
This is church right here.
See, this is, you didn't know that we ain't got any money for, billing. So we're just asking every question I ever thought of. I'm like, okay, how about this one? How do I build an email list?
Yeah, so a bunch of different ways. One of my favorite ways is, remember again, I talked about getting featured in front of someone else's audience. So in your case, I'm going to share, I have a page on my website, minimadesigns.com/free, where I have 5 different ebooks. These are all 10 to 12 page books that I've written for specific topics. For example, I mentor web designers. There's one there. There's one for if you want to work with premium clients and charge premium pricing. I've got great advice for that. In order to get that ebook, you got to give me your email address so I can continue the conversation. So I'm giving you something of value for free, and in exchange, you're going to give me your email so that I can continue to nurture our relationship. That's number one. You always want to have some way that people can get on that list. Number 2, again, get in front of someone else's audience. So I'll often teach for someone else. I'll take an hour of my time. I'm not going to get paid for that time. That's not what I'm not in for the mini payment. I'm in for building long-term relationships with my audience. So to do that, I'm going to get in front of someone else's audience. I'm going to get exposure to them. I'm going to train them. I'm going to give them something of value for free, in that half an hour, hour-long training. And then those people are going to come on my list. And I cannot tell you how many people have over the years said, I have been saving up to work with you. I have been reading your list for so many years. And I can see because I have all the metrics. And they save my emails. They let me know. They let me know that they've used my free trainings on my blog posts. I also am a huge fan of SEO, search engine optimization, because that is long lasting. A social media post, it's one and done. But a blog post, if you are really thoughtful about it and you've used a lot of keywords, you're giving a great training and a value, that can serve you forever and ever. In fact, I have a blog post I wrote 2 years ago. It drives 60% of my website traffic.
That's why you're here. This is part political stump speech, church session, therapy, and business coaching all rolled into one. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice you're listening to is Michelle Martello. She is really dropping some nuggets of knowledge on us. Time 2:41 on the mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. WJFN Radio 100.5, 92.7, 820 AM. It is the place where the game changers come. We got to go away for a moment. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy with Beyond. I believe it should not be confusing or expensive for your business to accept credit cards. As a social enterprise business advocate, my mission gets you paid faster with fair rates, helping your business grow. We can be contacted at area code 804-503-8472, 804-503-8472, or at getbeyond.com. Again, I'm Tom Childry, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. We make it easier than you expect.
Hey guys, this is Robin with DB Arcade Commercial Video and Photography. If you need creative visual content for social media or traditional advertising, then we're the team you want working for you. We create custom ROI-driven videos and photography for your business, no matter what products or services you offer. We've worked with local newspapers, gyms, real estate agents, financial advisors, clothing companies, restaurants, and more. For more information, check us out on our website at db-arcade.com.
Dessert Diva RVA. Specialty boutique with specialty products, providing custom experiences. Our dessert boutique is open on the weekends. Every dessert made from scratch. We also offer date nights and event decor. Dessert Diva RVA, the official home of Party in a Box.
Are you experiencing difficulties with paying your mortgage or bringing your mortgage current? If so, we can help. Give Neighborhood Home and Assistance a call at 1-800-441-6872 or text 757-951-3048 for the immediate response. We have over 10 years of mortgage experience working with some of the largest mortgage corporations in America. For more information, visit neighborhoodhomeassistance.com to schedule your free over-the-phone consultation. Remember, time is one thing we can't get back, and your home is your investment. Act fast.
Chris Ship here with Focus Floors, and we are offering a free upgrade in any Bona water-based poly for any job that gets put on our schedule. You can reach us at focushardwoodflooring.com or just check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook, Focus Floors 804, Instagram 80 Floors. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's Pavi Leitner, the CEO and founder of Finlit and your family's certified financial educator, dedicated to the financial success of you and your family. Are you not sure where to start with your finances? Or are you looking to sign your middle schooler up for our virtual camp? Book us at www.finlitva.com. That is www.finlitva.com. Finlit is creating a money-conscious community.
This is Mike King Biz of On the Mic with Mike, and I'm here with the Dope Soap Lady.
Yes, it's the Dope Soap Lady. I got them sales. I got that BOGO, buy one, get one. Come and get this Dope Soap today.
How do people find the Dope Soap Lady?
Gina'sLove.com.
Yo, what up, guys, people? It's your man, Sarai, the good chef. You can catch me live in Swagger Studios this Friday, December 4th at 2 p.m. Coming at you on the Mic Show, 100.5 and 92.7 FM. Be there. Be there.
On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program in the game.
Hey, so we're back on the Mic with Mike. It is what is it, Tuesday?
I think so.
On the Mic with Mike, it's the best business radio program in the land. If I don't think so, who will? So we're here with Michelle Martello. She is bringing some information that is totally valuable to helping your business flourish. And I think that one of the things is that people only want to get, or if they can't get information that's readily at hand, then they're not going to go look for it. So it's like, this is Richmond, and I tell people there are multiple layers of people in Richmond. People are coming from, like you said, Shannon Soriano, Rebel Khan. I asked her, how do you take that and make it blow up like that? You know, it's the level of quality of people that you bring in. It's the mindset. Talk a little bit about the mindset of an organization. So businesses are either fast or slow, or businesses or something. What does mindset do for as a business owner or person?
Yeah, you know, I tend to work with a lot of folks who are solopreneurs, or maybe they have like a partner, or maybe a really small team, like an online business manager, a virtual assistant. And so what I have found is that you really do have to surround yourself with people who are going to operate in the same space as you. So sometimes that could mean you're not just doing it in Richmond, for example. Like I said earlier, when I first moved here 15 years ago, there weren't really the communities and the collaborations. People weren't co-working. In fact, I used to hide the fact that I worked at home. We would, you'd say you had an office, and that used to be 15, 20 years ago, like you moving into an office was a big deal. Well, I've always worked at home. I love to work at home. But you would hide the fact. And what I found is I had to find communities of folks who understood my language. My mom, by the way, still doesn't know what I do, and I've been doing it for 20-some years.
My wife doesn't know what she knows what I do.
Yeah.
It's kind of, a lot of people don't, because people only know what they know. And a lot of times it's the blinder. So when I heard what you did, I'm like, okay, excuse me.
Yeah, it's if it's not, I always say, like, it'd be much easier sometimes if I sold widgets. I sell, X and it does Y. And that can be hard, especially if you're in an online business, to explain to friends and family. They're like, is this legit? And I'm like, it's totally legit. And by the way, I'm making way more money than I would have ever made working for somebody else. And so, finding people who, like I said, understand the language. You don't have to explain, Facebook ads to them, like why you would be doing that or why you have an opt-in. Like, if they speak your language, you can elevate the conversation. So sometimes that means finding a business coach. It means maybe forming a mastermind with people. I get so much out of working with my clients who, majority of my clients are 7 figures, usually solopreneurs or small teams. And so, we're really leveraging their brand to make a global impact. Most of my clients, they're based in the US, but they have global audiences. It's not just focusing on a local audience. Again, beauty of the internet, you don't have to just serve your local community. You can really serve anybody. I've got clients in Costa Rica, in France, California, all over the place, Australia. You really aren't limited with who you can work with. And so finding folks who you can connect and communicate with. In fact, my business best friend is someone I've never met, but we use Voxer. Voxer is kind of a walkie-talkie app, if you haven't heard of it. It's great.
No, Al, have you heard of it?
Voxer's great. There's a free and a $20 a year version, which is fantastic. It's basically like text messages, but what's great is, how you get a text message or a voice message for someone and you got to wait for it to listen? Well, you can actually listen while somebody's talking. My husband laughs because he's like, why didn't you just call each other? I'm like, you don't understand. We don't want to call. We don't want to get on the phone.
Talking is so old school.
Exactly. So, but we can Vox, or we can send messages, anything. And it's great because then I can be like, hey, it's 7:00 at night. I got this idea. Am I crazy? And it's someone who I really respect. She's run her own 7-figure business, and we can just bounce ideas back and forth. In fact, we just held a virtual summit where we got together 15 people that we really respected, and we interviewed them and released it as a free online conference. You can get that on my website. It's totally free. 15 people who have really pivoted and changed this year and are building their own businesses their own way. So it's, finding these people who are maybe not following a crowd. They're coming up with their own ways of doing things. They're pivoting. You just kind of have to seek out people who are doing things differently. And sometimes that means it's not going to be locally.
So the whole idea of change agents, disruption, are they still relevant, or is that past?
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends on the industry. I know folks who have like physical-based products who you would consider more disruptors. The folks that I work with, tend to be, again, solopreneurs. We're not really disrupting anything. We're not, changing many things, but we may have a different business model. For example, one of the things that I do is revenue share, which is not something a lot of people talk about.
Now, people don't like that.
Yeah, I actually love it. If you work with a client, and a couple of my clients, one of my clients I've been with for 10 years. And so it really is a trusted partnership. And so I will come in and do the design, the development, a lot of this stuff, and I'll take a percentage. You have to have a lot of trust, and you have to have a lot of transparency. It's not for everybody. It's not the only revenue stream for me, but it is a significant revenue stream for me.
So you're getting paid. You do the work. You guys are sharing the revenue on the back end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was that's a scary business model to a lot of people, especially if you're not totally comfortable with the people that you're working with.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. So here are my rules of thumb. You know how I said I don't.
Okay, there we go.
I don't work with.
We need.
I got rules because again, 15 years, you learn a thing or two, what not to do. Especially if you're a designer. I mentor a lot of designers, and people are always like, oh, I have this great idea for something. Let's go in it, and you end up doing all the work. So I've done a few of those for sweat equity, and they haven't worked out. So my rule of thumb is I have to have worked with you in some capacity for probably a year or two. We both know what we're coming to the table with. I know the audience. I know that they can sell. That you can't be afraid to market and promote yourself. This is another mistake that I see a lot of business owners, especially in health and wellness. I worked with, again, a lot of yogis, and they don't want to promote and market themselves. Well, guess what? You're your best marketer. And so unless you've got a partner who is going to do it for you, you have to come to the table and be willing to market yourself. You market your show, right?
Yes.
Every single day.
The easy part, well, not for me, but the easy part is the talking part.
Yeah.
The hard part is the getting people to pay to market.
Yeah.
To market the show.
Yeah.
Are you more so? I've done Myers-Briggs, and I'm an ISTJ. I'm an introvert by heart. That's who I am. Are you a creative or a killer businesswoman? I mean, because you sound like a creative, but the things you're dropping on us are hardcore business bullets.
I call myself a bit of a unicorn, so I'm still a creative. I'm still a designer at heart.
You're a designer at heart.
I still do design. I only do design work for my revenue share clients. So as I've grown my business and changed my business, I feel fortunate that I'm in a position where I get to choose who I get to work with. And so that to me is the ultimate freedom. A lot of people will talk about changing, trading time for money or whatever, time for hours.
You know who was here talking about that? Ron Carey from Tilt. Think about financial freedom. It allows you, he said he learned that at Mars. It allows you to pick jobs that you want.
100%. Yeah. Retirement for me is not like that I don't want to work. My husband and I, we love to work. We love to collaborate. We love to do strategy with clients. But we don't want to feel like we're forced to work to pay the mortgage. You know what I mean? So it really is, I get to work. A lot of times people have this negative mindset. And this is something else too I encounter a lot when I mentor folks is that they're like, oh, they complain about clients. I'm like, I never want to see anyone I mentor complain about a client in a public space. That to me shows me that I can't send you referral work. And by the way, in my space, especially, other designers are your best source of other work. I've been given over $500K worth of work from other designers. And so I always tell people, whatever you want to attract, you have to put out there. If you're putting out negative or you're complaining about your clients, I can't trust that someone I refer to you is going to have a great experience. So for me, it's very, very important that how you present yourself. I'm okay with you having fun and listen, you got dog pictures. I'm here for the dog pictures. But you have to present how you want to show to the world. I don't want you to be like negative on a client or talking about an experience. That's what the private Voxer conversations are for.
Okay.
Your public space is how you're going to show up to the world.
Okay, so now that brings us to social media. Either you're a business or that is therapy online. Now, I don't go on the idea. Every so often I'll put something up. You see people putting up, especially on Instagram, therapy for themselves. They, it's a business page, but you see everything under the sun. Give our listeners a little bit of guidance on social media presence, the look of it, and then drop something on us. Which social media ones are on and popping now? Because if anybody knows, you know.
Well, I will tell you, I I limit it to just Instagram for myself. That may not be the right channel for you. A lot of folks love Twitter. I left Twitter a couple of years ago. It's just too much. It's too exhausting.
Twitter's a lot. Yeah, Twitter's a lot.
And I find like if you can focus on one channel that makes sense for you, that's where you can show up and be effective. And I will tell you what I use Instagram for. Now, you can be a personal account, you can be a business account. Again, most of the folks that I work with are personal brands. So it's not like you're a company and then you have your personal life. Really, a lot of the work life blends into itself. And so what I do for Instagram is I'm really nurturing relationships again. And so what happens in the DMs is that people will share their experiences with me, they'll ask advice from me, and we're really starting to connect. And those people buy from me as well. So I'll share behind the scenes what I'm working on. Yes, I'll share the dog pics. I try not to be too obnoxious about it, but it's part of my life. Now, am I going to use it as a therapy session? No, because again, I'm pretty private when it comes to a lot of that stuff. This year has been so wild as is. We've probably all overshared or put stuff out there. But I always tell people too, and this is something I told my students, is that whatever you put out there, there's a screenshot of it somewhere.
Yeah.
So you may think you've deleted it. I'm pretty good at finding stuff. And there's also, people love this, there's a site called the Wayback Machine. So
okay, all right. So what's it called again?
The Wayback Machine. If you Google the Wayback Machine, now it doesn't capture everything. It usually captures websites. But if someone's posted something about you or reposted a screenshot, it lives somewhere. Just because you deleted it does not mean it doesn't live on a server somewhere else.
All righty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has been interesting. Voxer and the Wayback Machine. That's what
I've done my duty now.
Yeah, that is true. You've done your public service, and we'll be taking a look at those. Mm-hmm. Let people know how they can find you.
Great. So you can find me. Come to my website at minima-designs.com. That's MINIMA designs with an S.com. And if you go to the free page, you'll see all those ebooks that I talked about. Bunch of different stuff on how to generate revenue, how to work with premium clients. There's even a website tune-up checklist, so you can figure out what's wrong with your website.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is the best radio program that covers business, life, and everything in between. What you're giving us right there is just, it's beyond belief. I appreciate you coming in. So, all right, really quickly, tell folks, Zane, let people know really quick. You got about 30 seconds. So this is her husband.
Just like real life.
Really quick.
I'm the guy with the face for radio.
So, Zane, you're going to be back. We got to get a time for you to come in. Let people know who you are, because you're a big deal as well.
Well, thank you, Mike. So I'm Zane Gibbs. I run a management consulting firm here in Richmond called Zada Strategy. And we use human-centered design to help mid-sized and large companies create new products, to work with the people in the organization to help them achieve new things.
Okay, and what is it again, really quickly?
Zada Strategy.
Zada Strategy. Mike King here, Zane, Michelle, would like to thank you guys for tuning in. As I always say to my wife, baby, I'm on the way home as soon as this is over. We'll talk to you tomorrow. It's SBA Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We had a blast.
100.5 FM, 92.7 FM, and AM 820.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. One Washington insider says President Trump is not getting the credit he deserves for accelerating discovery of a pair of coronavirus vaccines. Bob Agnew reports.
Washington Examiner chief political correspondent Byron York says President Trump made medical history, but the fact has gone largely unreported.
And a lot of people in the press are not willing to give him credit for that because everything he does is wrong in their view.
Both COVID-19 vaccines are already in use and could become widely available by early spring of next year. Bob Agnew reporting.
European regulators say they may approve a coronavirus vaccine developed by drug makers Pfizer and BioNTech within 4 weeks. That vaccine, 95% effective. That time frame, while sped up, could mean the shot is rolled out first in the United States and Britain. An influential scientific panel today is set to tackle one of the most pressing questions concerning the coronavirus epidemic. When the first doses of COVID-19 vaccine become available, who should be at the front of the line for those shots? Also at townhall.com, stocks are rising and the S&P 500 approaches another all-time high.
U.S. stocks rose broadly in morning trading Tuesday, and the S&P 500 pushed toward another record high as investors focus on the possibility that coronavirus vaccines could soon help usher in a fuller global economic recovery. The S&P 500 rose 1.2%. The sharp opening to December follows a 10.8% surge for the broad index in November, marking its best month since April. The index also is on track to surpass its record high of 3,638.35 set on Friday. Bernie Bennett reporting.
And on Wall Street, the S&P in record territory, up 46 points at 3,668. The Dow is up 258 points. More at townhall.com.
Let's say you've decided to build a bicycle from scratch. Sounds like an impossible project for my skills, but let's say you've got the skills and I offer you an advantage, a special tool that would help you build the bike faster while saving you legitimate money. My guess is you'd say, bring it on. If you wouldn't, well then this commercial isn't going to make much sense. My name is Ryan, I'm from United Faith Mortgage, and we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is lucky to have a direct lender advantage. Our company is set up to use its own money and make its own lending decisions within its own walls. And often, this advantage allows us to get your refinance or new home loan done faster and get you a better rate, which saves you monthly and lifelong money. Rates are historically low. Now is the time to see how our special tool might work for you. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1335. Racket NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii.